Hello and welcome, fellow digital soldiers, to True Reporting. It is the 1st of May, and on today's podcast, we will be covering two articles, one from Zero Hedge entitled, "The Real Bombshells Are About to Hit Their Targets." Bombs, 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 right? Just like Q has been telling us. Also, an article from the Epoch Times, which blew my mind. WikiLeaks Assange gets 50 weeks in prison for bail jumping. This is not good. Basically, what scares me is that anything can happen in prison. They could put him in any cell with any maniac that they choose, and it's all behind closed doors. So, my friends, that is very concerning. But before we get into either one of these articles, would you please make way for our new sponsor, Virtual Shield VPN. Hey guys, Thomas from True Reporting here. Are you tired of being out in the open and vulnerable to people spying on your social media accounts? Facebook does it. Facebook expects to face a massive fine to up to $5 billion from Federal Trade Commission as a result of an investigation into its privacy policies. There's sick people out there. We shouldn't have to fear this, and one way to fight back is using Virtual Shield VPN to simply block your IP address. I do it every single day when I turn on my computer because I don't want anyone looking into what I'm doing. It's none of their business. Virtual Shield is my VPN of choice because it is the easiest and fastest VPN to use. Plus, they will never sell or share your data to anyone else. Stop trusting free big data sites. Use a VPN and fight back. I do every day. And as a result of this month of May, Virtual Shield is offering a Memorial Day special of 30% off all VPN plans and all premium add-ons, including Protection Plus, residential access, monthly maintenance, phone support, and VIP performance plans for as low as $3 per month. Sign up for free, that's right, free 30-day trial to Virtual Shield VPN and see what the hype is about. I would not steer you in the wrong direction, friends. Be smart about your privacy, guys, and choose Virtual Shield VPN.
Do you share my concerns about the FISA warrant process?
Yes.
Do you share my concerns about the counterintelligence investigation, how it was opened and why it was opened?
Yes.
Do you share my concerns that the lack of professionalism in the Clinton email investigation is something we should all look at?
Yes.
Do you expect to change your mind about the bottom line conclusions of the Mueller report?
No.
All right, guys, it's a pleasure to have you aboard. Let's go ahead and hop into this. This is True Reporting. So as I said, the real bombshells, in quotes, are about to hit their targets, and I believe they're speaking about the deep state. The next bombshell report to drop from the Justice Department likely will earn none of the breathless fanfare and media coverage that Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report received, but it could be far more incriminating. I love that word. In the next several weeks, Inspector General Michael Horowitz is expected to issue his summation of the potential abuse of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act by top officials in the Obama administration and holdovers in the early Trump administration who were overseeing the investigation of Donald Trump's presidential campaign. And the perpetrators of the so-called FISA scandal now are scrambling for cover as bad news looms. And it's so overdue, guys. Horowitz announced last March that his office would examine the Justice Department's conduct in applications filed with the U.S. Foreign Intelligence Service Surveillance Court relating to a certain U.S. person. That person is Trump campaign associate Carter Page. In October 2016, just 2 weeks before the presidential election, the Justice Department submitted an application to the FISA court seeking authorization to wiretap Page. The court filing accused Page, of Naval Academy graduate and unpaid campaign advisor, of being an agent of Russia. The application cited the infamous Steele dossier, of substantiated political propaganda that had been funded by the Hillary Clinton campaign and Democratic National Committee as its primary source of evidence. But the specific political origin of the dossier intentionally was omitted in the court filing. Robert Mueller similarly tap danced around the role of the Fusion GPS, the political consulting firm that hired Christopher Steele to create the dossier. Mueller never mentioned the name Fusion GPS in quotes in the 448-page document, referring to it only vaguely as, in quote, the firm that produced the Steele reporting. Former FBI Director James Comey and former Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates both are swamp rats. Signed the original FISA application. It was renewed 3 times. Subsequent signers included former acting FBI Director Andrew McCabe and Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein. If there's one document that represents the malevolence, chicanery, and arrogance of the original Trump-Russia collusion fraudsters, it's the page FISA application. But, to borrow a favorite term of the collusion truthers, the walls are closing in on the FISA abusers. Representative Mark Meadows, a patriot, and James Jordan, another patriot, recently met with Horowitz and offered some ominous news for Comey and company. We anticipate the IG's report will come out in the next 4 to 6 weeks, and I think it's highly likely that we will see criminal referrals coming from them, Meadows told Fox Business host Maria Bartiromo on April 14th. President Trump also speculated that the Inspector General's report would contain damning allegations against former top officials for the world's most powerful law enforcement agency. In quotes, I think he, Horowitz, knows how big this is. Trump told Sean Hannity in an interview last week, the IG report is coming out in 3 or 4 weeks. From what I hear, is going to be a blockbuster because he has access to information that most people don't. If anyone misled the FISA court, including Comey and Yates, Trump suggested that, in quote, they'll all be in a pile of trouble, and that is huge. Since last fall, Trump has threatened to declassify the entire application, much of which is still concealed behind redactions. But that has presumably been delayed to protect the integrity of the investigation. Once the Inspector General report comes out, however, Trump would be free to unredact crucial portions of the application. Friends, we are weeks away from justice. I can guarantee it. So the targets of the Inspector General's probe and their media pals are now spinning hard in preparation of the report's release. And this is a side note right here. They are spinning their wheels trying to get in preparation for the report's release. What are they doing? FFs all week long. They're going to continue it, so please be safe. Be aware of your surroundings. Natasha Bertrand, a reliable mouthpiece for the Fusion GPS, is smearing Horowitz and raising questions about his investigation. Former U.S. officials interviewed by the Inspector General were skeptical about the quality of his probe. She wrote in April 17th, that's a weird number, piece for Politico. The Inspector General seemed neither well versed in the FISA process nor receptive to the explanations, the official said. Comey, unconvincingly, is rejecting accusations by Attorney General William Barr and others that there was, in quote, spying on the Trump campaign. When I hear that kind of language used, it's concerning. Serial uptalker Comey said in an April 11th interview, in quote, the FBI and the Department of Justice conduct court-ordered electronic surveillance. I have never thought of that as spying. I don't know of any court-ordered electronic surveillance aimed at the Trump campaign. Emphasis added. Yates appeared on Sunday for a softball interview with NBC's Meet the Press host Andrea Mitchell. Without any sense of irony, Mitchell introduced Yates as, in quote, someone who seems to show up at key moments in the Trump presidency, including her central role in the setup laughable Logan Act inquiry and subsequent firing of former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, another patriot. Yates served as acting attorney general for 10 days before Trump fired her for insubordination. Yates, much like Comey, has a flair for dramatic, often using hushed tones, theatrical facial expressions, and overwrought rhetoric to make her point. In quote, when the Russians came knocking at the door, would you think a man who likes to show off hugging the flag would have done the patriotic thing and would have notified law enforcement? Hard eye roll. Oh, what a dummy. Yates referred to Trump campaign objections as about Russian collusion as a lie, end quote, and falsely laminated that, end quote, now we have devolved to there's nothing wrong with taking help, illegal help, from a foreign adversary. Surely that's not what we've come to. But Yates, in her own words, might come back to haunt her, and soon. So, my friends, this is coming up quickly. I believe that heads are about to roll. In the second article, this is just not good, guys. Very concerning. It says WikiLeaks Assange gets 50 weeks in prison for bail jumping. This came out today. It says in London, a British judge sentenced WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange on Wednesday, May 1st, to 50 weeks in prison for skipping bail 7 years ago and holding up the Ecuadorian embassy. Judge Deborah Taylor said it was hard to imagine a more serious version of the offense as she gave the 47-year-old hacker a sentence close to the maximum of a year in custody. She said Assange's 7 years in the embassy had cost British taxpayers $21 million and said he sought asylum as a deliberate attempt to delay justice. The white-haired Assange stood impassively, with his hands clasped while the sentence was read. His supporters in the public gallery at Southwark Crown Court chanted, "Shame on you," at the judge as Assange was led away. The Australian secret spiller sought asylum in the South American country London's embassy in June 2012 to avoid extradition to Sweden, where he was wanted for questioning over rape and sexual assault allegations, absolutely blackmailing him. Assange's lawyer, Mark Summers, told a courtroom packed with journalists and WikiLeaks supporters that his client sought refuge in the Ecuadorian embassy because, in quote, he was living with overwhelming fear of being rendered to the U.S., and I still believe he will be rendered to the U.S., and he will be safe and sound. He said Assange had a, in quote, well-founded fear that he would be mistreated and possibly sent to the U.S. detention camp for terrorism suspects at Guantanamo Bay. Yeah, under the Obama administration, not this patriotic administration of the Trump presidency. Summers read a letter from Assange apologizing for his behavior in 2012 and saying, "I did what I thought was best. I found myself struggling with terrifying circumstances," the letter said. Assange was arrested April 11th after Ecuador revoked the political asylum, accusing him of everything from meddling in the nation's foreign affairs to poor hygiene. That's a horrible joke. U.S. extradition hearing. Separately, the WikiLeaks founder is also facing a Thursday extradition hearing over criminal charge in the U.S. He has been charged with helping former Army intelligence specialist Chelsea Manning to obtain access to U.S. Defense Department computers in 2010 in order to reveal secret government documents. The charge of one count of conspiracy to commit computer intrusion was kept under seal for over a year until his arrest in London 3 weeks ago. So, my friends, what does this tell us? This tells us that Julian Assange is going into prison for almost a year. This is very concerning to me, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, because a lot of things can happen to him behind closed doors, the likes of which are not good. We need to pray for Assange. We need to hashtag free Assange and get him back to America where he is safe and sound. My friends, if you found this informative and you enjoyed it, please subscribe to my channel. You can follow me on Twitter at True Reporting, and don't forget to leave a like. The more likes this video receives, the more times it is recommended to other viewers, thus more eyes on the truth. You can donate to this channel also by going to my PayPal or Patreon in the description box below. And always remember that we do a live call-in open forum talk show from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every day. I thank you for joining us and have a wonderful afternoon. Bye-bye.